Okay, we're here today to talk about the ClimateMaster 03 and 04 thermostat and some of its features, and hopefully better explain how this thermostat works and some of the benefits to using it over other thermostats out there. I want to start off with going through some of the installer configuration. This thermostat is the 04 thermostat, which has humidity functions on it. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in the installer configuration mode. And the first thing on the screen is the model configuration. I'm going to go ahead and select that. And we can select either a single stage or multi-stage piece of equipment. This happens to be a multi-stage, so we would go ahead and save it by pushing the center button here. Our next option is electric multi-fuel. So again, this thermostat works with dual fuel applications, gas furnace and our geothermal splits. Or we can also select no auxiliary heat. So either we got electric auxiliary heat or no auxiliary heat. So we'll go ahead and save our selection here. And then our next option here is programming options: programmable, non-programmable, or night setback. We've got it set up here to be non-programmable, non-setback. At that point, we've saved everything under the model configuration. The next thing down is our accessories, and we can have pop-up timing on here basically for some of our accessory items, such as air filter timing, humidifier, UV lamp, and air cleaner. I'm just going to go ahead and save that, but again, if you had those, then we could go through that as well. And here you can see when I do pick one of them, air filter change, we can put calendar time and day or cumulative run time. We'll go into the next category down here under installer settings is input dealer info. This is where you would put in your information, who you are, the brand name, ClimateMaster, model number, serial number, as well as contractor name, contractor phone number, and so forth. Next thing down is reversing valve options. This is whether we're going to have the reversing valve energized in the cooling mode or the heating mode. And again, for all our ClimateMaster equipment, it's always energized in the cooling mode. So I'm going to save that option. The next thing down here is restore defaults. Again, if that needs to be done, yes or no. Next thing down is, this is a very important one that a lot of people don't understand, is this temperature algorithm. We got proportional, integral, and differential. Now, differential basically will finish on a Y2 call. So basically it kind of speeds that process up between the stages, and it's going to satisfy the call for heat or cooling, depending what mode you're in, on that highest stage. So again, that can be our Y2 call for a two-stage piece of equipment, and also if we got an auxiliary heat, it's going to finish that out and satisfy that thermostat temperature setting based on what its last mode of operation was. Proportional tries to take into account we're almost there, so then it'll cut it back to say Y1, that type of thing. So depending on what you're looking for and where you're at and what your opinion is on that as far as staging, you can pick between proportional or differential. We've got this one set up for differential. Again, every time you hit the center button after you pick your option, it saves that. The last item here under our installer settings is humidity options. Once I click on that, we've got ClimaDry. So if we do have a ClimaDry unit, whole house dehumidification unit, we need to set it up there. We also have ECM. So again, if I connect my DH terminal here between this 04 thermostat and my DH terminal down here on the ECM board, I can control the speed of the ECM motor based on the humidity level. Or we got both, again, or none. In this case here, we don't happen to have the wire hooked up, but if we did, we can easily select this to ECM, and now it saves that option. That's our installer settings. Going back, this is now the main screen. And as you notice on the main screen along the bottom here, we've got a few different options. We got menu going from the far right to the left, fan, mode, temperature, and relative humidity. We also can hook an outdoor sensor on this. This one happens to have one connected to it, and it's just indoors here in our training lab, but it would display the outdoor setting when that bulb is connected. It happens to be 68 degrees. The temperature here at the thermostat as I'm standing next to it is 71 degrees, and obviously we have it in the off mode, and the fan is in the auto position. Also displays the date and time. We'll go ahead and select menu here so everybody can see what's under there. Again, this is where you can change that date and time. Again, this thermostat, if it loses power, does not lose its date and time. We got our fan. Again, auto on. Again, every time you hit the center button, it goes back to save. Whoops. And we got our mode and our settings. Again, our screen settings, and in screen settings, when I pick that, we can have this displayed in Fahrenheit, Celsius, so depending where we're at, Canada or here in the US, a 12 or 24-hour clock, language, contrast, backlight. So if you want this to be lit up at all times, kind of like a little bit of a night light, say in your hallway, you can change that backlight time on to where it's on all the time. We got offsets, anticipator, differential, humidity offset, so we can change all that in here. Cycles per hour, again we can change that up to I believe 5. Auto changeover, program settings, intermittent fan. So right now we got that off. No heater or cool time, it does not come on. We can actually set that to come on at different intervals. And service information. We can hear if we happen to have a fault from our CXM board, as long as we have the L terminal hooked up here to the thermostat, this will store the last 5 faults. And this one has no faults in it. If it happened to have any faults, it would display those. And again, it saves them regardless of the power being cycled to the unit or not. And then you can clear the fault history. And then again, we can scroll across the bottom here. Once we're back to the main screen, fan, we can turn the fan on, as we're doing here right now. The fan will come on in this unit. Turn that back off, back to auto. Mode, this is where again we can put it in heat, cool, emergency heat, or auto, so it'll switch back and forth from heating to cooling. Again, when you do put this in emergency heat, it's going to come up red. The backlight here is red. Also, anytime we get a fault, it's going to come up with a red back screen, so that it kind of helps to alarm you of what's going on. Temperature. And then again, relative humidity. Being that this is the 04 stat, we can change the relative humidity setting that we want on this thermostat. So that's some of our features here of the Climate Master 03-04 thermostat. I think after you looked at this video, I think you would see that there's quite a few advantages to using this stat over, say, some of the other ones out there. Thank you.